Welcome to BlackUSA.News Morning Show. I'm your host, William Hunnable Jr. Join us as we explore the news and opinions that impact our community. We break down how the major stories have a very personal, local, and racial impact. No topic is off limits, but even if the conversation gets rough, we're always going to keep it real. Greetings and salutations, all of my people out there in internet land. Welcome to the BlackUSA.News Morning Show. I am your host, William Hunnable Jr. For those of you all who are staying on after that amazing conversation with Donnie Glover this morning, talking about the anniversary of January 6th, I know you all are already worked up. I was watching, my fingers was burning on the keyboards because they really touched on a lot of pieces of they touched on the fact that January 6th is a symptom of a larger problem. January 6th is a reflection of the racism and the entitlement that gets just buried into what we do on a day-to-day basis as Americans. Judge Murphy really dug in to the fact that there are people who this is what they want. And they are going to continue to do it time after time after time. This isn't a bug of, like they say in computer programming, this isn't a bug, this is a feature. They are united around their common interest of power. That's it. I mean, think about this. Some of them felt so entitled that they went back to work the next day. They went back to work just like and were surprised when they got arrested. When the FBI came and asked them, like, "Hey, what are you doing there, buddy?" Blah 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 blah. And we're so privileged that they didn't realize that this was going to be a problem. They didn't. They thought that this is what they were entitled to do. And it was a really great conversation to listen to Marsha Jews, Judge Lloyd, and Judge Murphy, just to talk about the reality of the world that we live in. You know, a lot of these people don't understand reality. They are living in a world unto themselves and don't understand what's wrong with us. But yeah, it was a wonderful conversation. And if you're just joining us and you didn't get a chance to see that, please jump on and take a look at that. It was awesome. Let me see. Let me get this stuff going here. All right. Let's see. As always, want to thank the super producer Kyle Crazy Horse Morgan for all the work that he does in keeping us afloat and focused on what's really important and bringing you quality content. It's just been it's amazing to work with him. Today's show, we're gonna have some fun in the way we talk about Black wealth, in the way we talk about our engagement with the community and those opportunities to build Black wealth. We all know, or at least we've all been told, that real estate is one of the fastest ways for African Americans, or anyone actually in America or around the world, to build and develop wealth. But a part of it is that there's so much misinformation about what it means to be a homeowner or to be a real estate investor. And so today we have Tamika Givens of Tameka Givens Realty, as well as her other projects and development things going on. We have her to talk to today. Tell you a little bit more about her. But yeah, you're going to be in for a real treat. This is one of I told you, I know dope people. And I'm bringing them to you guys so that you can know dope people and to give you some real pertinent information about how you can build your own wealth. All right, see what else? Yesterday. Oh my God. Yesterday, the show, we had an opportunity to interview Associate Director of the Small Business Administration, BB Hidalgo. It was a wonderful opportunity. So big shout out to Associate Administrator Hidalgo and also to SBA Administrator Guzman. talked a lot about how do we build out the capacity for small businesses to access federal contracts. There were a lot of reforms that the associate director was talking about. Associate administrator was talking about that the Biden administration is implementing to make federal contracting more accessible to Black businesses. She also talked about something that was really, really, really helpful in helping us understand what type of businesses the federal government is looking for. Because remember, when you do business with the federal contract, that's federal government or any government. It's not a grant. What that is a contract for the delivery of services. So just like before you go and you hire a lawyer, or you go to a bank, or you hire a surgeon, you want to know that they are capable. You don't want somebody who is thinking about going to med school, or they just got out of med school, operating on you if you have a choice. And that's the same way that the federal government wants to work. They want to see that you've done stuff. They want to see that you have a book of business. And there are also a lot of resources that as you are developing your book of business, as you are preparing to do work with the federal government, there's a lot of resources at the SBA to help you navigate that space and prepare your business to get that big money. We also talked about the fact that a federal contract is normally for a business that is looking to scale, looking for an opportunity to grow, and they've gotten a good place, a good business model, good business operations, and they're looking to take it to the next level. That's normally when businesses start looking at federal contracting opportunities and things like that. So that was a wonderful show. So again, go check out BB Hidalgo. That show we did yesterday. If you missed it, yeah, that's on you. All right, so let's see what else. We talked about the show this morning. Again, that was awesome. Tomorrow we're having one of my good friends, another dope person I know, Sharif Small of the SJS financial firm. We're going to have him on, and going to have a good time talking about how you can prepare yourself and your business, getting your financial documents and your finances and your financial plan aligned together and straight, so that you can have the success throughout 2022 that you really want. Woo, we got a lot of stuff that be going. Don't we? It's like a lot of stuff. Like this is the problem with Black excellence. See, the people don't always talk about the problem with Black excellence, because when there's Black excellence, there's a lot of Black stuff to talk about. Like we got Tamika coming on. That's some Black excellence for you right there. We're gonna talk about that. But we also got people like Dr. Kimia Dennis of Diversity 365. Now, let me be clear. Her whole tagline, let you know where you started with. Her whole tagline is not your typical diversity training, because her diversity trainings don't just focus on kind of the check marks and the conceptual pieces that businesses need to be compliant. She looks down at how their policies need to be designed, not just around compliance, but around anti-racism. And that's the standard that she holds their clients to. And she tells them quick, all money ain't good money, because her mission is to eliminate racism in America. But you can't do that just by fighting it outright to get it to a controllable level. That's like saying, hey, let's get just a little bit of COVID in the body. Let's get that, because racism is a disease, and our American body is we almost 250 years old. Why we look 400? Why we look 450 years old? Why? Because racism is we're trying to contain racism, and it's running rampant throughout us. Like, we don't need to control it, we need to eliminate it. So again, Dr. Kimia Dennis with Diversity 365, because trying to contain racism in the workplace only changes its shape. You end up with racism variants. So now, instead of that outright, hey, N-word Jim, because by the way, people, I got talking to because my language can be harsh a little bit sometimes. So I'm gonna try to dial it back down a little bit. So I said N-word Jim. So if y'all talk to Donnie, make sure you tell him I said N-word Jim, but not the actual N-word. So all right, we're gonna be cool. But So yeah. So I'm sorry, I got sidetracked by that because I don't like getting in trouble. But if you want to talk to somebody about diversity, just look up Dr. Kimia Dennis of Diversity 365. All right, we talked a lot about where we are and how we are, but now today's show, I get the privilege of introducing you all to a good friend of mine, Miss Tamika Givens. I'm bring it to. Okay, here we go. There's Tamika.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Tamika is a real estate agent extraordinaire, like legitimately award winning. And it's one thing when you get awards from your customers, because you could gaslight your customers a little bit just to get them to think and feel good, and they'll jump on Yelp or wherever and give you big high marks. But one of the awards that, as well as awards from customers, another defining type of award are the ones that your peers give you. Tamika has been a part of a number of organizations with other realtors, and they consistently acknowledge and recognize her work, not just with her clients and providing high quality customer service, but also what she does to advance the profession. So I want to make sure again, because I think all I know dope people. Y'all thought I was joking. No, 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 no. Um, and so I wanted to make sure you all understand type of people I'm bringing to you to hook you up and let you know what you need to do if you're serious about taking control of your financial future. Real estate is one of the ways to get that involved. So, hey, so Tamika, first of all, before we get into, because I know I spilled a lot of it, told a lot about you. That's because I think you dope. So I'm like, I'm gonna tell the story first. I don't care. But tell them some things I didn't tell them about you. Tell them a little bit about you and your practice.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Tamika Givens, and I'm a realtor here in Maryland. I service Central Maryland. A little bit about me, I've been doing this, you've been in the trenches with me, William, 8 years
Yeah,
total, going on almost, yeah, 8 years,
yeah.
full
Yeah.
time, 6 years. A little bit about my previous life. I was dual career in my first 2 years. Um, I was a realtor and I was formerly an analytical chemist. So my actual degree is in chemistry from Morgan State. I did
Oh,
that
shout
for
out Morgan.
14
Shout
years.
out, big ups.
Oh,
Big ups,
absolutely.
Morgan.
Go Bears. So yeah, had my degree in from Oregon. I practiced as an analytical chemist for almost 14 years. Still love chemistry, but I fell out of love with the industry. The
Mm.
corporate America politics, as they call it. I call it racism, but hey, whatever you want to call it. Um, and all of that craziness. I don't do politics. I do right versus wrong. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
but one of the contributions that made me fall out of love with it, I needed work-life balance. And of
Mm.
course, the potential of being in real estate and making the money is way more, the chances and, opportunity is greater. So I was like,
Mhm.
let's do it. And I started, as I was falling out of love with working in corporate America, I started falling in love with real estate. So, and as you know, William, I genuinely love what I do, assisting
Yeah, you do.
people with selling and buying, their homes. So, yeah.
So one of
Um,
the things. Oh, sorry.
no, I was
Go
just
ahead.
going to say, in addition to that, I'm also a certified new home co-broker, which is a
I was about to say.
fancy title for specialize in new construction sales. I let buyers beware. Not everyone that holds a license is familiar with selling or assisting those with buying new construction homes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing about real estate. I remember back when before the big real estate bubble burst, there were
Yes.
so many people who were getting into real estate, and having been a business consultant for a number of years by that point, I was
Mm-hmm.
really confused how people who don't know nothing were supposed to be making money. Like I'm like for example, I looked at it kind of as a parallel to, I can jump on YouTube, and my mother's a great baker. So, but me started like, I do custom cakes now because I watched a bunch of YouTube and I went to some seminars and I made a cake for my own birthday. So now I should open a bakery. And it's like, that's not the way that works. But a lot of people I heard talking about real estate like that, like, everybody can make money. And in my opinion, that's one of the reasons the bubble burst. Because you had a bunch of people in there doing stuff that they didn't know. What's been your experience working with people? And let's start off with the real estate investment piece. I know you do. You've done an extensive job working with new home buyers and stuff like that. But I know for a lot of the people listening, they're going to be wanting them like, okay, how can I get the money? I want the money from the real estate. So what does that typically look like? Somebody who actually makes money in real estate investment.
So with real estate investment is pretty much what it is. It's an investment. I think it's critical in knowing what you're doing. If you've never done it, maybe get a mentor of some sort. And I say this because, me, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So I don't like to make mistakes.
I appreciate you acknowledging that for the people. I appreciate that.
I am, I keep it 100. So I don't like to be wrong if I can help it. I don't like to be loud and wrong about things. But when it comes to investing, it comes down to the numbers. It's more of a numbers game. It's not as emotional, or not emotional at all. At least it shouldn't be, as it is when you're working with buyers. Buyers, this is where they want to live. So there's a little more emotion. With investments, it's straight numbers and what's going to work for you. And if this is even a deal you should, move forward with, because, based on the numbers. And the numbers really come down to your financing, if you're going to finance, and how much the materials are, what's the cost of acquisition of the property you're going to, the project, whether you're going to buy in whole, which is a rental, or whether you're going to flip it, where you buy it, renovate it, and resell. So it really comes down to the numbers when it comes to investments. And, of course, with the flip, within a short period of time, and by a short period of time, in under a year, you play your cards right and the numbers make sense and the numbers turn out the way they're supposed to, you'll end up with a lump sum of money. Whereas with the buy and hold, where if you buy it and rent it out, that's, it's not as much money, but over time it's gradual money, residual money. Say that again.
There's more consistent money.
Yes.
Okay. So you talk about the numbers. One of the numbers that you and I've had this conversation before. One of the other. So let me make sure y'all understand. This is one of my ace boom coons right here. Like y'all talking to some legit folk right here. We talk regularly. Okay. So y'all gonna hear a lot of references to conversations y'all ain't heard before, but that's just how we roll here on the BlackUSA.News Morning Show. That's why you need to meet the people I'm bringing, so y'all can have these same conversations with them. Now, so one of the things we talk about when people are looking at their numbers that they don't take into consideration is the value of, one, their time, and two, their network. Now, you can reduce those two to numerical values. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that all the time, but when you are talking about your time, recognize who you are. If your job is pressing you, 60, 70 hours a week, and you have family responsibilities, and you've never done this before, that's going to take a different amount of time, regardless of whether you do flip or whether you do purchase and hold. You need to make sure you understand your total resources, time, and also your mental health too. Because some of us get real stressed, especially if you're a perfectionist. I guarantee you, your first deal will not look anything like you thought it would.
Yeah.
You know what? I apologize. I'm a consultant. You're a realtor. Does that sound? Am I?
It can be very stressful, especially when it comes down to picking your team, contractors, and right now, I don't know. Contractors are, if you find a good one, you better hold on to them. Treat them right and hold on, because I have had my share of run-ins with contractors and, just more so dependability. Too many people out here focus on revenue versus relationship. And, like one of the contributions to my success, in real estate is I'm relationship driven. the money gonna come, but I focus on relationships. I'm not all about
you know what? Make sure you so put that on a t-shirt, and I want like 5% of the revenue from that revenue versus relationships. Because that, I mean, but seriously, it sounds simple, but that's a nail on the head right there.
But it's a lot of people in this game that shouldn't be, first and foremost. If you're in it strictly for the money, you're going to be short-lived. But relationships will take you far and, for a longer period of time. So one of the contributing factors to my success has been relationship. Mm-hmm. I'm not all about give me money, give me all the money, give it to me now. You know what I mean? The money has come over time. Mm-hmm. And I'm continuously eating. I'm not eating a big meal. I'd rather be reasonable and mm-hmm. you give me all mm-hmm. of your business than for me to try to, like I always say, tear your head off with pricing and you never hire me again. And so many people are like, I want all the money now. Let me hit her up. Let me charge her as much as I could possibly charge because I need to get money. And then I'll never call them again, ever. Like, you can't ever get my business again. So, and a lot of people just don't really see, they can't see the forest for the trees. It's like, it's right here, right now. They focus on what they need now versus this could be continuous business, and referrals. Referrals are big. So I'm at a point now, probably 40% of my business are referrals.
Wow.
So yeah, from past clients.
But think about what that means. And I want everybody else to think about what that really means. That means her return on her marketing investment is continual. So and I want you to think about it like that as you are trying to build your business or as you're negotiating with customers. Let's say it takes Tamika $1,000 of marketing to get one customer. Okay. If she has that one customer, that means that return on investment is whatever she can get out of that one transaction with that one customer. But if she can get 2 transactions, well, that $1,000 has now generated double that return on investment. If she can get 3 transactions, triple, 4, and then all of a sudden your cost of keeping a client, and by the way, remember, if you keep her, that means you don't got to get a new one. Yeah, I remember when I grew up, they used to say this phrase, it's keeper to keeper. And as a divorced person, we're gonna have a conversation about that later on a different show about what. That's not this show. That's not this show. That's not this show. That's also after a couple more therapy sessions. Then we can talk about that show. Not
you know what. But yeah, I even yesterday I was riding down to PG to preview a property and
PG ma'am, we're nationwide. You're gonna have to explain what a PG is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was riding down to Prince George's County.
Okay, Prince George's County, Maryland.
Property. Yes.
But I'm sorry, wait, because you have to introduce Prince George's properly. The gorgeous Prince George's County, Maryland.
Yes, the fabulous.
The home of it is the wealthiest Black county in the country. Yes. So go ahead, tell them what you're going down there to do with it. Because I need the people to understand where Tamika go. Because again, when you listen to where she go, that might be where you want to start heading. So she might like let some secrets slip out about how she making her money. So I'm gonna go ahead. I apologize.
So yeah, yesterday I was taking a drive down to Prince George's County here in Maryland and to preview a couple properties. And I get a call from a young lady. She's a referral. But I was shocked because when she was a referral from someone who I haven't even sold a house to yet. I just had a consultation with her best friend, and just off of the consultation, she referred me to her best friend. I was like, that's a first.
Wow.
I don't know, I just felt a little accomplished, like, wow, I haven't even sold your house yet. And, this is where we are. So, it's just crazy, But yeah,
that's a sign of good business. That's a sign of good customer service and management when they are in a position where it's like, I haven't even worked with you yet to actually get what I need done, but I know you're good people. You have provided me with a quality customer service before the transaction.
Right.
That's what's up, yo.
So yeah, it was kind of cool. I was like, okay. And she was like, yeah, you did a consultation with my best friend and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is really cool. And well deserved. You do good work.
Yes.
let's see. I got sidetracked talking about like how to help people, whatever. Oh, um, continuing to talk along the lines of real estate investment. What is the people that you have worked with that have been successful in real estate development? I know you're getting, I mean, real estate investment. I know you're moving on to the real estate development side, but for those in the real estate investment space, what have you seen? Let's start first with the challenges that they face. So as they are starting to get into real estate investment and doing deals, what have been some of the challenges you've seen them facing, and what would be your advice to navigating them?
So the challenges lately in this current market are inventory. The inventory is super low. The
Mhm,
opportunities are super low. And what the inventory that is available is overpriced,
mhm,
and that's not a direction you want to go in when you're investing. You don't want to overpay
mm,
for a property in acquisition to acquire a property,
mhm, mhm, mhm.
because already you can find yourself underwater, meaning
Right.
you've paid too
Off the
much for the
break.
property. And then also materials are, currently being sold at a premium. So with the materials being sold at a premium, you've already paid premium for the house. You don't have a lot of space, so to speak,
For profit.
spread,
Right.
for the,
Yeah. For profit.
renovation and profit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been like, I think, a struggle with many
Mhm.
investors. Everything is, to put it nicely, available at a premium price,
Right.
which is a
So
fancy way of just saying overpriced.
way overpriced. So and I want to touch on some of the reasons why. And I'm gonna tell you some of my theories. I'm gonna tell you what I think about why it's overpriced or what's happening in the real estate market. And as a expert in this area, in this industry, just let me know, am I on base or am I like just on some wilds? Because sometimes I just make up stories and be like, this is probably what happened was, and it's not. So tell me if I'm on track. What it looks like to me is that the market is artificial, the inventory is low because there's an artificial holdback with the eviction moratoriums and the let's see, with the eviction moratoriums and the industry moving in a different direction. It gives you an opportunity to really um, have a backup on it. So with the moratoriums, they're houses that would have been foreclosed on that haven't been. And so that inventory is out of the market space. So that as people are looking for inventory, looking to buy, there's not there because the method that they would normally either have sold the house because, oh, I'm about to get foreclosed on, so let me just go ahead and sell it, short sell it or something like that to get out of it. That's they don't have to do that. And the process by which the bank or whoever financed it would move them out, that hasn't happened.
Right.
And a lot of people who would also, and this is another part of it, not necessarily with the moratoriums, but more so with the kind of overarching impacts of COVID. There's a lot of economic uncertainty. So there are a lot of people who would have normally bought during this time period, but they're like, I don't know if we go into lockdown again, am I have a job, or do I need, where do I move, because where am I going to work? Am I going to be remote? Blah blah blah. What are my options going to be in hell? Am I going to have a car? Because the
Right.
inventory of vehicles are going down. So that's been what it seems to me like the market is lower than it should be, and so the prices are spiking on the other side. Does that sound like what's going on to you too?
That is absolutely what's happening.
Okay.
So, uh, one of the things is people with the pandemic starting, it's caused a lot of uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
So with that uncertainty, people who would have normally been ready to sell their homes aren't really ready to sell, or they're a
Mm-hmm.
little reluctant to sell. And here's the thing you got to realize: with the prices of inventory or real estate pretty much being sold at a premium,
Mm-hmm.
it's a great time to sell. Um, Not quite the case when you're buying. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So, and one of the things that I tell my clients when they're looking to buy, I keep it, honest with them. I let them know, you know, real estate is being sold at a premium price right now. So depending on what your goal is, if you're going to be in the house for more of the long term, this could work out. But if you're going to be more like short term, looking to resell, you could possibly be, overpaying now and find yourself underwater later if you're going to be looking to sell in 5 to 7 years,
Right.
So that's kind of like what I've been, telling my clients and being in each and every one. And some are like, you know what, I don't care, I want to still buy. And others are like, you know what, I appreciate your honesty. I'm going to have a seat. I'm not going to buy right now. So that is, and you're absolutely spot on with that, what you said about people being reluctant to sell. So that's affecting, the inventory. And then also with the moratorium, houses that would normally be, undergoing the foreclosure process are kind of at a standstill.
Right. So one of the other things that I was reading recently was that a lot of these corporations and real estate investment trusts are actually in like Sotheby's are doing auctions on residential property. And what's happening is these corporations are buying up these blocks and buying up these individual properties as parts of packages and then renting them out. And what it means is the same thing that happens in all these other industries. One, the small entrepreneur, the barrier to entry is going to go up because now you're dealing with large real estate investment trusts that are competing with you on prices for this house in the neighborhood. So that's one. Additionally, that means that corporations are going to now be in charge of setting rental prices.
Yeah, that could definitely be the case for sure. And that could spike up. But here's the thing with market rate. I mean, the market, meaning the consumer, determine the market. So yes, they will drive it up a little, but only so much, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think that happens more when they're smaller. Like, let's say, maybe you own 100 units, but when an organization owns 10,000 units in a city, they set the price. Because especially what will happen is that if I'm a corporation, one, I market better than small independent businesses. I don't have to create relationships. I can lower the price because of the standardization, which creates a situation, at least what I've seen, is that it creates a situation where now as a renter, I'm like, well, hell, if the Tamika Givens Corporation can charge $1,500 for the studio, then I could charge $1,400 for the studio. And I mean, New York, you talk about the market. New York is a prime example of what happens in real estate when large organizations get involved. Because I mean, we create companies specifically to make profit. That is a company's job, to get money. Get money. Guys talked about New York.
You're right.
New York and get money, you got to spit it like, you gotta get that little line as a Gen X baby. You know what I mean? That's how we roll from the 90s.
But like I said, it's to an extent though, because you got to remember the 3 important rules of real estate are location, location, location. Right. So in certain areas, you can drive up the price, but if you drive it up too high, you're not going to get anyone to rent at that price, depending on where the location is.
But that's what I'm saying. So what happens is that, and ain't nobody better than corporations to find out what that highest price is. Like corporations spend all their time trying to figure. So like me and you, let's say we're independent renters, because remember we're independent owners and we're renting to people.
Right.
But remember the other part you talked about earlier, we establish relationships with our clients.
Right.
We're not trying to be in your pocket and break you. So if you if I see your circumstances and I am also looking for a certain type of person, and that person, some of the things I'm looking for aren't just financial. They're looking for I want somebody to have a long-term relationship. Corporations don't give a damn. Corporations are like, hey, Tamika Gibbons, whatever, lady, here's a lease. And you have to sign it if you want to live in this area, because now we control 10,000 units in your city. Where you gonna go? And the other part is that the small, like the William and Tamika real estate companies and landlords, we don't have the resources to even provide the amenities. So we don't have 24-hour maintenance. Me, it's like, if my, make sure you call me maybe twice, because sometimes my cell phone don't ring, so I can come over and fix your plumbing. Like, that's different than being with, like a Southern Management. Shout out to Southern Management, they do good work. It's different to them, because if something happened in the middle of the night, there is somebody on call who's waiting for me to call them. And so it changes the corporations. That's my biggest fear, is that the corporations are going to make that New York real estate model a national thing. What's happening in Texas already, with the people moving from LA and San Fran and the Bay Area over to like Houston and Dallas, the property values there have gone ridiculous, damnless.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm afraid that that'll happen in places like Baltimore, places like Columbia's on different thing.
I mean, it's happening now, actually. I mean, within this last year, before, you could buy a house in Baltimore City, fully renovated for less than 150. Now, anything under 150 is going to need some work. So the prices have definitely been driven up within the last year. Right now, to get something that's halfway decent, not even totally renovated, but just is not going to need work when you move in.
Right.
It's probably closer to 200. And I've warned, just in conversation with my colleagues, I've been worried about this happening for at least the last 3 years. I've been watching, and I'm in these streets, and I'm seeing how the prices are going up and up and up and up. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's right now in Baltimore, you can find something under 200, but if it's going to need some work, or, depending on the location too. So yeah.
So that's where we are now. And all of the things that we're seeing suggest that this theory about the reason why there's this artificially low amount of inventory are true.
Right.
What does that mean when the kind of dam bursts? What does that mean when we get COVID under control, 20,000 or whatever it is, by this time we get COVID under control?
Right.
Wear a mask, by the way, people. Wear a mask and get a vaccine. Commercial break for public health. Wear a mask and get a vaccine, damn it. So let's say,
what?
So let's say people start, get well, and they said, okay, hey, banks, go ahead and get your foreclosure game up. Hey, landlords, go ahead and get your eviction game up. I think what'll happen is that there'll be a lot more inventory just automatically dumped into the market space. Now, if that happens, what does that happen? What would that do to the prices and opportunities for investment?
It definitely will open the floodgates for sure.
Okay.
So a lot of people right now, especially investors, like some of them are investing, but a lot of them are positioning themselves, financially, getting their finances right, saving money, or positioning themselves to be ready to borrow. So, when this moratorium is, when this inventory, so to speak, floodgates open, they'll be in a position to buy. Right.
So so would that be the case? So right now, because of the way that the prices are going and the reduction of inventory, it sounds like right now we're in a seller's market.
We're in a seller's market.
But when the floodgates burst and the eviction moratorium is over and the foreclosure moratorium is over, that sounds like it's going to instantly switch to a buyer's market.
It's gonna shift to a buyer's market for sure, because the inventory will be greater. So buyers will have more inventory and they will have more power, and sellers, right now sellers pretty much get to make the call on everything. Not everything, but
they have a lot more room to say what they want.
They get to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. But when the market corrects itself, which it will, I believe, at some point, then the sellers get to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Right.
So right now it's kind of like, earlier last year, just around this time last year through the spring, I was almost ready to just stop selling. Like, that's kind of where I was, because I just genuinely did not like what I saw happening in the market. You had people bypassing inspection. I never recommend a buyer to buy a home and don't get an inspection, not even new construction. even with new construction, I'm like, you need to get an inspection. But people were bypassing inspections. They were offering over ask, and I mean tens of thousands over ask, not just 2,000 over ask. I'm talking 80, 100,000 over ask. You had buyers striking the appraisal contingency. And I tell people, I would tell my buyers, unless you have what I call black hole money, meaning you have a whole entire room full of money, never strike an appraisal contingency, because essentially
let's talk to the audience about what an appraisal contingency is.
So an appraisal contingency says that the sale of the house is contingent upon the house appraising at the contract price. Mm-hmm. So if you offer $300,000 on a house, when the appraiser comes, the appraiser will appraise the house at whatever value he sees fit based on the condition, of the house. So if you strike the appraisal contingency and you've offered $300,000 and just a few months ago, and the house was listed for $250,000, okay? Mm-hmm. If the appraiser comes and says, well, this house is worth $250,000, by you striking the appraisal contingency, you're telling the seller, if this house under appraised, I will come to the table at settlement with the difference. So if you don't have $50K in a duffel bag somewhere, don't strike the appraisal contingency. And so a lot of people were doing that.
So basically, whatever sellers want, they're like, hey, okay, sure. All right, cool. I just want the house so badly because there's so little inventory.
Right. And so the seller walks away with at least that $50,000, profit in addition to whatever other profit comes, with selling the house. And so it was just, I called it a zoo. It was an entire zoo. And and this is why I felt the need to explain to my clients what was happening in the market. Another thing, sellers are more favorable to conventional offers versus FHA or VA, because with FHA and VA loans, they have stricter guidelines as far as the property conditions. So,
right, absolutely.
Yeah. And so a lot of sellers, they don't want to have to make repairs according to VA or FHA guidelines. So they go conventional, or they would more than likely accept a conventional or cash, offer, which requires, less of them to have to do to the property. Yeah.
Okay. And that is part of the challenge with this unbalanced inventory situation that we have in the market space.
Right.
And one of the things that you said before about the strategy that you're using right now is, and again, I know that you're at a different level than most people are, because like I said, you're into the development game as opposed to, just let me get some real estate here or there. But the strategy that you said is that you are spending this time while the market is artificially high, making sure that like your cash flow or your cash on hand and resources are up. And it sounds like you were doing that waiting for the market to shift. Why is it important to get your finances and your cash up before the market, kind of the inventory pops off?
Just so when it becomes available, you're in a position to buy, ultimately. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, if you want to buy right now, you can, but you're going to be paying at a premium price. Not as much of a premium as it was, early to mid 2021. But, when the market corrects itself, the prices will definitely go down.
Right.
When the inventory becomes more abundant, because even right now, so you're seeing a lot of price reductions in the inventory that's available. And houses are sitting a little longer than they were before.
Right.
So, yeah. But whereas when, like you said, the dam burst, then there's going to be, more opportunities. And by opportunities, I mean actual, homes and real estate available for sale. And, especially if they're foreclosed, if they're foreclosures, they probably will go for possibly a little less, because sometimes the banks can jump on and try to get, a house that's a piece of crap, for top dollar. And we're like, yeah, no. You can't sell that for the same price as this renovated house next door. I don't care how low the inventory.
one of the things that they do with those is that those houses that match that, they're not trying to sell those to you. They're trying to sell, well, not you, but like to us. They're trying to sell them to developers that are buying portfolios that don't need to go and inspect every house because they're doing it at the population level. They're saying like, okay, I'll, with this one house that is, it's a piece of crap, but I paid the regular market rate for it. But then there's this other house in this portfolio that is a jewel that I got for that market rate is undervalued. So that's one of the ways that ends up playing itself out.
Well, honestly, banks don't really care. They're going to sell to the highest bidder. It doesn't matter who the buyer is, whether it's an owner occupant buyer or a huge company. Yeah, if they're willing to pay that. But here's the thing, remember, with the bigger corporations, they're about $1 too. So they're not going to outright, even though they have the money to buy it, even at premium price, they're not, if they're smart.
What I'm saying is that the way that this happens and the way the banks get around this is by bundling the property. So what I've seen happen with some of my real estate investment clients is that they'll see a property being sold and then like, oh, that much, and it's less value. It doesn't look as good, or it's less quality than the house that they're looking at. Mm-hmm. So they assume that, oh, okay, if this house that they just sold that is not as good as this house is 200, well, I can get 225 on it. What they don't realize is that the company who bought it for 200, they have they buy lumber in bulk. They have construction contractors on standby and generate enough business that they don't have to pay that premium profit, that risk that a lot of contractors add. Because if a contractor is doing house by house for individuals, they don't know how many individuals they're going to have. But if you give me a portfolio of 10,000 homes in Baltimore, then I know my crew is going to be working for the next 5-7 years. So I'll cut you a big break. And the regular investor who thinks that they're going to be able to get that same 200,000, bro, your contracting cost is 50 grand. The corporation's contracting cost is 15,000.
This is true.
Y'all not the same. And even things like the insurance that you need and the bonding you need, permitting you need, like an individual contractor to go to permits, that's going to take 4 hours out of, depends on what city, may take 4 hours out of their day to get it done. But guess what? The large company, they send a person, that's your entire job all day. Like I know law firms that hire a person that literally their job is once a week. No, well, every day they plan for it, but once a week they go to the court and just file everything. Your job. Well, now with the IT stuff, they don't, not so much. But that was their whole job, just to make sure everything got filed, all the signatures, all the stuff, because they could afford to do that. But if you're an independent lawyer, you don't have the opportunity. You got to take 4 hours of non-billable time that you want to be making money to go down there and and file these papers.
Right.
That's what when you, for me at least, when you're getting into the market, that's when they talk about understanding your competition. It's not just who they are. It's like, well, how are they making money? Because again, if I'm looking at going into a same environment to buy a property as the companies that are using Sotheby's, well, I need to think about my strategy, because I can't get them on money. I can't get them on resources. So how am I even competitive? And a lot of times my experience has been real estate investors don't think about that. They're like, I'm going to get money because everybody said you can't lose at real estate because everybody got to have some place to live. And if I just get a house, I would be able to. I'll build an empire. And it's like, oh, honey, no, sir, you won't.
True.
All right. So I know a lot of your practice and a lot of your awards have been from the work that you do in the community, especially around first-time home buyers and things like that. So if you don't mind, let's spend a little bit more time at the end of this now talking more about, like, for individuals who, because for a lot of people, buying a home is their dream.
Right.
It is their way to enjoy part of what we consider American social success.
Yes.
But one of the things when I worked at the bank, I used to have to tell people, is like, they said, my house is my biggest investment. I was like, that's not true. because you're not looking for a return. For most of the people who are saying that, we're talking about as like it's a liability. Like you don't actually own the house for another 29 years. So this isn't even an asset of yours for real. You co-owned it. And so as people are getting into this, into purchasing a home and things like that, what are some of the things that you've seen that have really been helpful to people as they navigate this journey?
Education is, I think, the first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
For those who have never purchased a home, when I get calls from clients, potential clients, and they want to buy, and I don't really care what price point you're buying, you should take a first-time home buyer workshop. I like the first time. I actually teach first-time home buyer workshops. I'm affiliated with 5 different agencies throughout Maryland. And it pretty much helps. So here's the thing. A lot of people don't own for various reasons. But one of the main reasons are fear, because fear of getting taken advantage of. They hear the horror stories, because the reality is, and I said it earlier, there are a lot of people in this business that shouldn't be. A lot of people get in this business as professionals in this business for the wrong reason. They're in it for the money. They don't really care. They don't care to get to know their profession and become experts. And then, they don't care about the people that they service. So as a result, they end up giving less than stellar service. So
I love the fact that you being all professional and stuff. You said less than stellar service. They suck. They suck in their clients. I'm not going to hold no words. They suck.
Right. So with taking the first-time home buyer workshop, it makes you more informed. And I actually appreciate when my clients are informed. I appreciate when they not exactly challenge me, but they ask questions. I'm not a shut up and sign type of realtor. I don't want you to just sign off on anything I hand over to you. Ask me questions, you know what I mean? Right. So I make it a point. I teach my clients during the process. I teach them in the classes, but also throughout the process, I'm teaching them as well. Every document I send them prior, like typically when I have a consultation, shortly following, I send them a list of documentations. My goal for my clients is to make this process super easy, super simple. And I do that by providing them everything they're going to need to make this process go smoother. So I give them a list of all documents they're going to need for the lender, if they haven't already spoken with the lender. So when you contact the lender, this is everything you need. The next phone call should be, congratulations, you're approved, or let's talk about how we can get you ready to be approved down the line. But it's not 8,000 phone calls back and forth. You don't know what you need to submit. So I pretty much provide them everything they need. And for those who are serious and they follow my instruction, they end up having like the most awesome, experience, and not tooting my own horn, just being honest, And
maybe you ain't seen none of the shows we do. We toot our own horns here all the time, because the reality is that if we don't tell our story, who's going to tell it? We're going to wait for somebody else to tell people how awesome. I'm a bad man. I have always been a bad man. And I just need everybody to understand my badness. So yeah, you better take your own horn, goddammit.
So yeah, okay, well, beep beep. But yeah, my goal is to just make this process super simple for my clients. I've even had one client was like, "Am I buying a house?" I'm like, "Yeah, you are." It was like, I just didn't know it was this simple. I hear the horror stories, and so I even produced a blog. I even created a blog back in 2018, I think.
I remember, yeah.
I want to buy a home.
Realtor image, okay, realtor image, your avatar, yeah.
Yes, and I broke it down to a 5-part blog series. I want to buy a home, and literally I broke down the home buying process, and I intentionally. Here's what's crazy.
No, wait, time. You want to do that again? We can do a series of shows and just walk people through this whole process and have it so they can ask questions. Man, don't threaten me with a good time. You better call crazy horse, and we're going to get you on the show. Stop playing with me.
I'm game. So yeah, I broke it down, and I intentionally have grammatical errors because I want anyone of any education level
Right.
to be able to read my blog and make it. I have it in super simple layman's terms. So anyone, so I wanted it to sound like a casual conversation, like me, I'm talking to my homegirl.
Absolutely.
So anybody that reads it can relate. My 16-year-old son, if he read my blog, he could buy a house.
Shout out to Trevor. Big shout out to Trevor. Big shout out
Absolutely.
to Trevor. What's up to the man?
Yes. So yeah, my goal is to just make this process super simple, super easy. I pride myself in staying on top of what's going on as a realtor, staying on top of the forms and the contracts and the latest addendums, so that because if I'm not, I'm doing a disservice to my client. So I've been licensed 8 years. Every year I take the contracts class, every year. And I know the contract like the back of my hand almost, but I still take it. And I intentionally take it with different instructors because I like to hear a different perspective. So I've even gone out to like Anne Arundel County. I took a contracts class out there one time because it was offered here in Baltimore.
Yeah. That's what you want to see, the different flavor.
Exactly.
So you know what? Because I see it happening. We about to start a whole other show because we about to talk about your entrepreneur journey, and you're not trying to trick me. You're not going to trick me. That's not going to happen. So you coming back, and we're going to do that part again. But what I want to make sure everybody has now is an opportunity to know how to get in contact with you. So let the people know. Let the people know.
Okay, well, I'm happy to announce I actually have my my website is up. I got that up last summer.
Okay.
And that's been a long time coming, but I said I'll wait because when I do it, I'm going to do it right. Mm-hmm. So I have an IDX feed, so you can actually search for properties, get accurate information, unlike some sites.
What's the address?
The website is my name, TamikaGivensRealEstate.com. So that's my website URL. And you can search for properties. You could get a home valuation. Yes, that's it. Yeah, TamikaGivensRealEstate.com. They can also follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at Tamika Givens, no dots or underscores. And my email is just the same, TamikaGivensRealEstate@gmail.com. So it's just basically my website at gmail.com. And of course, my direct line, my number, 443-845-1137. That is my direct cell number.
You will not act like I know how to type that fast. What did you got?
443-845.
So too many things popped up just now. I don't understand what's going on. It's like, when the technology don't work well. Okay, 443. Say again.
845. 1137. And that is my direct number. It is not a Google number. I'm not a superstar. I'm a regular.
No, don't be disrespectful for those of us who use Google numbers, y'all. Don't be disrespectful.
Listen, I'm just saying, you're going to get me. So if you call me or text me, it's going to be me. Okay. Yeah, but those are the ways to get in contact with me for sure. And, schedule a home listing consultation or a home buying consultation if you want to buy, because I work with sellers as well, and helping them prepare to sell their home. One of my mantras is don't move in your house and move on. You got to take care of your house. You got to maintain your house. You take care of your house will take care of you. And when you're ready to sell, it's not a whole, novel of a list of items that you haven't touched in 20 years that need to be addressed. And now you're like, oh, but then you want your house to sell for the same price as the house renovated next door. No, that's not going to happen.
So this is why we're going to have you keep coming back. The other part, too, is that we're going to bring some of your squad. Because one of the things that I know that has helped you navigate through is that some cool people. Things like big shout out to Alan Upshur and Travis Shaw.
Yes.
Yes. So, but we got that again, different show. You see, we supposed to be off in like a minute. Stop playing with me. You disrespectful.
I know. I'm sorry. We can go do this forever.
You shouldn't be so dope, damn it. You shouldn't be so dope. Okay.
Oh my God.
I need a little bit more mediocrity here. Okay. All right.
All right, William. Well, thank you.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to let's I'm gonna call you and we're gonna hook it up so you can come back on the show. This has been awesome.
Absolutely.
All
Have a
right,
great
well,
one.
you too.
All right.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Tamika Givens, and I told you all I know dope people, and so I am grateful that we had an opportunity to talk to her, and looking forward to the next time she comes on board. Make sure you join us tomorrow for Sheree Small, who will be talking to us, and tonight, oh yeah, I think tonight is Sister. No, it's the Black Round. See, the Black Round Table, Black Business Roundtable. Tonight is the Black Business Roundtable on BlackUSA.News. Check us out on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. And you guys have a great day.